Hey guys, it's time for another legal tip. This time we're going to hit backup offers. Right now, a lot of y'all are doing lots of backup offers because the market is hot and the inventory is down. So I think it'd be a good time to talk about an issue or two under backup offers. My friend Felicia brought me a great question I thought I'd like to share with y'all. But before I hit that question, it is time to vote for the state's best. So if you will go to thestate.com/best, I put the link below, and please vote for Blair Cato as best law firm. We've won 3 years in a row and we're going for a four-peat. So it'd be very nice if you would vote for us. That would show your support for this video series. So thank you very much for doing that. Now, as to backup offers, Felicia's question was outstanding. She says, if my client's in backup position, do they automatically become primary position when the primary contract doesn't close by the closing date in that contract? And what I would tell you is that probably not. The answer I would say would be no. And here's why. Because in that contract, the closing date, the primary closing date in the primary contract could automatically be extended. For example, in the CCRA contract, there's an automatic 5-day extension if they have unconditional loan approval and through no fault of the parties, the loan can't close by that date, then there's an automatic 5-day extension. So if we go by the close date, that ignores that 5-day automatic extension. There also could be an addendum to the contract that the parties are unaware, that the second party is unaware of, that extended the closing date, or that the seller may decide, I'm not holding this person in default. They've done everything they're supposed to. They're going to close in a day or two. I'm fine with it. So in order for the primary to become, or secondary to become primary, what needs to happen is the first contract needs to be terminated. The seller needs to send a written notice to the first party saying you are in default, or I'm hereby terminating the contract. Then they need to turn around and put in writing to the second or backup offer that you are now primary because the other one's in default and I have terminated that contract. If you don't have that writing, I don't believe you're going to be moving into first position just because that close date has expired. Because like I said, there could be reasons that we don't know that it has been extended. Now, the other issue I would talk about on backup contracts is be very careful in these contracts where they write in there that if the primary contract doesn't close by September 10, then you will be primary. If the primary doesn't close by September 10, you will become primary. Don't put those things in contracts. And the reason is it creates a big muddled mess, because if the first contract scheduled to close on September 10, but you didn't count into consideration the 5-day automatic extension, that secondary contract can't become primary until that first one is terminated, and it can't terminate until that 5-day extension expires. So the agent's going to wind up with a mess on their hand because they could wind up with two contracts, which is a violation of your state license law. Now, as to who would win that argument, I still believe the primary would win the argument because they're still under contract and their terms are still applicable to them. And so I still believe they would have the right to purchase the property, but it does create a mess for all the parties. So lessons to be learned today. Number one is on the primary contract, understand you're not automatically moving to primary from secondary just because the closing date expires. It does take an affirmative action of terminating that first contract and notifying you that you are now in first position. And then secondly, when you're writing these contracts, be careful about writing these days that you will automatically become primary, because that may not be the case when the contract allows for automatic extensions or has an automatic built-in loan extensions, things of that nature. So be very careful with those backup contracts. Hopefully you're getting lots of contracts. Love to see you for your next closing. So if you would please send your next closing to Blair Cato, that'd be pretty awesome. And also don't forget to vote. Thanks so much. Y'all have a great weekend.